Hello and welcome to Unmasked Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2. Jordan, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I'm just happy to be back, man. Season 2, episode 25 total, but episode 1 now. We're starting a new year. Feel like it's the third new year. You got January, you got Rosh Hashanah, now you got Unmasked. It's just
The third new year. I love it, man.
it's a good time over here. But yeah, it's been way too long. We were just talking about the last time we recorded, Blake Griffin was a new net, and we already have one of the new nets now is retired. So that's you want to talk about that for a little bit? You sad?
Yeah, man. King LA, LaMarcus Aldridge. Listen, I'm a Spurs fan, I'm a UT fan, I'm from Dallas. LaMarcus Aldridge has everything in common with me. And I loved LA. He gave a lot to the Spurs. I know in his last couple of years, you could argue that his tenure with the Spurs was frustrating, but I don't think that was his fault. He joined the Spurs at a beautiful time towards the end of the Duncan, Ginobili, Parker era, and towards the beginning of what was going to be the Kawhi Leonard era. And that duo looked really nice together. People forget that the year that they all left and Aldridge and Kawhi were the duo, they went 67-15 that season. Second best record in the league behind the Warriors, who had the best record of all time. It was like a top 5 record of all time, best home record that season. And they actually were up on the Warriors until Zaza Pachulia injured Kawhi. So that team was a remarkable team. They were actually the favorites for a little bit to be the championship winning team. But it all we know blew up right in my face and our faces, and it's
And the whole
unfortunate.
NBA. I mean, that made a
The
whole new
whole NBA,
rule. Made a whole
the
new
whole
rule in
NBA,
3-point
yeah,
shooting. So yeah,
exactly, man. And
Zaza.
I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge is kind of the biggest victim in a way. And I mean, I commend him for the amazing career he had in San Antonio, in Portland, his short time in Brooklyn, and for UT. He was a legend, one of the greatest UT players of all time. And I mean, love the man. All
I
the
mean,
props to Marcus Aldridge.
he'll be remembered for his 5 games in Brooklyn, probably more than any other place he was at, I would say. That
111.
that number 21 has definitely become the most iconic 21 in the history of the game.
Not sure
Uh,
about one in there.
just, I mean, magnificent. But he's definitely in the Seagoville High School, Dallas, Texas. I don't know how to pronounce it. There's like no notable alumni from there. Their Hall of Fame. You put him in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'd say he's a lock. This man made tons of All-Star games, All NBA teams, everything else. He was a franchise caliber player in his prime for sure. And he always gave a consistent effort. I'd say he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
And do you agree with Dame Lillard that the Blazers should be hanging 1-2 in the rafters? Or is that
100%.
yeah?
His prime was a Blazer, and he was a Hall of Fame Blazer. Like, he deserves to be enshrined in the Portland Hall of Fame and the NBA Hall of Fame. He's a legend.
And then right after him is when you put like Rudy Fernandez up and Nick Batum, and you just had that whole team at the beginning of his career. I would just say is so legendary. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just because I've watched a lot of them losing to the Mavs in the 2011 playoffs, but man, they were
Maybe
there.
Brandon Roy, but not Nick Batum or Rudy Fernandez. Nick Batum has had a good career. I don't know about I don't even know. No, no. LaMarcus Aldridge is different.
Yeah, he was great. That was really sad to hear. I hope he's okay. It's those things come out of nowhere. I remember when Chris Bosh had his irregular heartbeat and whatever it was, like blood clots is what his was. And it's just like that's so scary, and that's almost immediate. Like once you hear that information, it's not like you can keep testing it out. I mean, you just stop. There's nothing is worse. Nothing is worth putting that much strain on your health and your life. Like that's serious stuff. But
Very scary, man. And I mean,
yeah,
I hope his family is doing okay. I hope he's okay. It's a scary time for him.
I hope the Nets can recover. I mean, that's
I don't
they're
know about that one.
they're
I think they're
swimming with
fine.
riches.
Yeah, they are loaded.
I mean, now they turn to what the ghost of DeAndre Jordan. But
Big boasted.
that's something I want to ask you about. Actually, not that Aldridge was going to guard the bigs in the East, But when you look at the Eastern Conference, I mean, yeah, like there's some teams that are playing well, like Atlanta. There's some teams that are good that aren't playing well, like Celtics. But there's three teams. I mean, there's the Nets, there's the Sixers, and there's the Bucks. So when you look at matchups, who's what team is stopping Joel Embiid? That's, I mean, Sabonis obviously is like, and Bam, these are guys that are big, but they're not going to be in the conference finals. Like, what team is going to match up against Joel the best? Now, I would say DeAndre Jordan can hold. I mean, I don't think at this stage in his career he can hold Joel Embiid to a
Right, I
non-MVP
don't
type
think so, but you
series.
have to look at the NBA and the matchups from a holistic perspective, because who's stopping like Durant and James Harden at the same time?
Giannis, I would say Giannis can guard Kevin Durant. I mean, that's the Bucks. The Bucks match up well because I'd say you put Drew Holiday on Kyrie, you put or on Harden. I mean, it's not like it's not bulletproof defensive strategy, but DiVincenzo and Middleton can are athletic enough to work defensively on Harden, and then you have Giannis on KD. I like that's enough for me. Look at the Sixers. I mean, you can throw Ben Simmons, who should be Defensive Player of the Year in my eyes, on someone, on anyone. He can guard 1 through 5. He's so great. Then you have Joel, who's playing good defense, who could probably match up on Giannis because Giannis isn't going to take the outside shot. I mean, stuff like that. You can work those matchups, but for the inside, like post game, there's seems like no one to guard Joel Embiid. He seems like the one biggest matchup problem that I see.
Huh. That's a good point. Yeah, I think like long term, I think Drummond could be effective against him. Great shot blocker, great post defender. Anthony Davis as well. But yeah, in the East, I don't know. I just think that from a holistic perspective, though, like I don't know how many Sixers can guard Harden, Durant, and Kyrie. Like I know Ben Simmons can. Ben Simmons can. You put him on Durant, whatever.
Thibault,
Thibault's all right. I don't think he's gonna lock down James Harden. I don't think anybody can lock down James Harden. I don't think Kawhi could lock down James Harden. But I mean, then you got like the guy like you. I mean, the
Danny
Nets are
Green.
so loaded with talent. I agree, and is gonna have a field day on the Nets, but that's not enough. It's not enough at the end of the day.
So what about putting like Thibault on Harden and or Kyrie, and then you put Danny Green on Harden or one of those, and then like you can. I would put Ben Simmons on James Harden, then put
Honestly,
Thibault
yeah, I
on
agree. I think
Kyrie.
that probably would be the best.
I mean, they have a lot of young wings too. Like, I mean, Maxi's not that good. George Hill isn't a horrible defender.
He can hold his own for sure.
Yeah, like guys like that. I'm just looking at like the size mismatch. Like, I think you can scrounge up enough a certain combination, play money ball a little bit with different guys to keep the quickness and the freshness going to stay in front of guys. But it's hard when you can't, like you can stay in front of him, but you can't match up with his weight. I mean, Joel's huge. I just don't know. Like Zion, like who are the guys in the league? Jokic, Cat, Drummond, like you said, okay. But like there's only a finite amount. And if he can stay healthy and give the effort that he's given when he's been on the court this year, like at his MVP level, I don't know who beats them. And granted, it might not matter because if the Nets are scoring at the pace that a team with those three guys can
That's
score
what
at,
I'm saying.
it
Yeah,
may not even matter. But I'm just saying, like, that's going to be a hell of a series because
that will
Joel's
be a
going to
hell of a series.
get to the cup at will.
Absolutely, he'll be Wilt Chamberlain, but
Yeah.
even Wilt Chamberlain didn't win that many championships.
No, you're right. But I'm just thinking about it the other day. And then in the West, it's kind of an interesting game here because the Lakers are going to end up. Let's take a quick peek at the standings here because I don't know. First off, did you see the Suns and Sixers last night?
I watched part of it. Yeah.
So the Suns looked amazing, but did you see the replay of Joel's full court heave to nearly tie the
No, I
game?
didn't see that.
You right after this, got to watch that. So what happened is I can outline it here for everyone listening. Hope this is sufficient, but it was. I mean, they did a whole segment on First Take this morning. Was it the best missed shot you've ever seen in your life? So I'm going to set the stage. It's a 3-point game with 0.8 seconds left. Okay. The Suns are up shooting one more free throw. In that scenario, you either make it and it's a 4-point game and it's over, or you miss it and there's 0.8 seconds with no timeout, there's no way they can get a quality look. It's over. I mean, the game's over. Chris Paul misses it off the front of the rim. Joel Embiid in one fell swoop, in one motion, literally grabs the rebound, turns in midair, and throws it with one hand 90 feet. It hits backboard, rim, then side rim, other side rim, rolls around for a second, and bounces off. That thing was inches away from dropping and tying the game. Nevertheless, the Suns won, and they've now beaten the Sixers and Milwaukee on the road.
They're legit. The Suns are legit.
Yeah. So is this a team that could come out of the West? Because I'm looking, the Lakers right now are pretty locked into the 5th seed. I mean, they're going to play the Nuggets round 1 and then get the Jazz conceivably round 2. Like someone's going to have to lose here. So is it Jazz and Suns, or is it Clippers, Lakers, like we were on last year? Like who are these teams that you're looking at in the West?
I actually like the Jazz a little bit. I think we've talked about this before, my love for the Jazz, but I think they're a really beautifully built team who looks also really legit. It's honestly a crapshoot. I think people are sleeping on the Lakers right now because LeBron and Davis are out. But once LeBron and Davis can come back, Davis is coming back, I think, next game.
Tonight against the
Once
Mavs.
They're fully back, and assuming they're fully healthy with Andre Drummond and Dennis the Menace, that is a fire team.
And Trez.
I don't see how that team, assuming health is all there, I don't see how that team doesn't come out. Considering they were the last championships, LeBron in the playoffs is a different animal. That said, I love the Jazz chemistry. I love Phoenix's chemistry. Chris Paul has proven time and time again that he's arguably the most valuable player in the league in terms of you put him on any team and they're going to the playoffs and they're going to be a legitimate team. I don't think you can say that about many players. It's crazy. Like Anthony Davis, as good as he is, the Pelicans were never a playoff team until he went to LA. And you put Chris Paul in these terrible teams and they are soaring. It's crazy. Like Chris Paul is more valuable than Anthony Davis in some ways. It's weird. But I don't know, man. It's a crowd. If I had to pick one wild card, it'd be San Antonio. I wonder why, but
you think they can win the play-in? So looks like they're gonna get a matchup with. I mean, unless someone can jump the Grizzlies, looks like they're gonna get a matchup with Steph Curry. Are you not scared of going into Oakland and playing Steph Curry in a play-in game?
I'm very scared. He's averaging 40 points per game recently.
Yeah, until last night, but he's on a tear.
I mean, I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I think he right now looks like an MVP. I don't think he's gonna get MVP. I think it'll be Jokic, but I think he looks like an MVP. This is maybe his best performance of all time, which is crazy because he was unanimous MVP a couple years ago. But all that said, I do have faith in the Spurs. Popovich knows what he's doing. He's the GOAT. I got into an argument late last night with another podcast. I DM'd them because they were like, "Oh, the Knicks are the best team relative to what they were expected," and I was like, "Do you know anything about the San Antonio Spurs?" And we got into a little Instagram DM fight. But that said, yeah, I think you can never lose faith, and I think they could do some serious damage if their chemistry's clicking. I think honestly, I kind of like No More Aldridge for the purpose of chemistry and for the purpose of how they play with this more faster pace offense. You have guys like Drew Eubanks who are stepping up, just the most random players who step up any given night. And I think we can give them a series. DeJounte Murray on Steph Curry. I like that matchup.
At what point though is it not random where it's another white European that Popovich gets the most out of? It's like, all right, next one in. We knew Jakob Poeltl was going to be a force. That wasn't in question, and I did, at least not to me. But I'm going to push back a little bit on the Knicks thing because I actually want to say that I do think. I mean, they're the 4 seed in the East.
Yeah, that is unbelievable.
They name a guy on their team, and I know RJ Barrett had 19 in the quarter in one of the quarters last night. But name a guy other than Julius Randle that you trust to have the ball down the stretch. I was listening to Bill Simmons. He was doing this. I can't name one on that team.
You got to give credit to Tibbs.
Like, yeah, like who's getting the shot on that team? If it's not going to be Randall, who is it? Like, is it going to be washed up Derrick Rose off the bench? Is it going to be rookie Obi Toppin, rookie Emmanuel Quickly,
Jordan, I
Mitchell
want to pose
Robinson,
to
who's
you:
injured?
who is your coach of the year this year, Tibbs or the Jazz coach or the
Quinn
Suns
Snyder.
coach?
So I would still give it to Quinn Snyder right now. But I think Tibbs is like the reason why that team is playing the way they are. I mean, Julius
He's got to
Randle,
be, right. He's got
yeah,
to be.
no, he is. That's he should. I wish that there are some years where there isn't a coach who should win coach of the year. And then there's some where there's multiple. And this year, I mean, you could give it to Monty Williams in Phoenix too. Great year. But
Right.
those three are the top three, I would say. And then you have a guy like Nate McMillan, who was fired from Indiana last year, comes over as the Atlanta assistant. Atlanta's like tinkering with playoff positioning. They fire Lloyd Pierce and bring in or promote Nate McMillan to an interim head coach, and now Atlanta's the 5 seed, like and firmly in playoff position. So there's so many guys who deserve it this year. But I was just gonna say I think that it's amazing that the Knicks are the 4 seed, and I think the Spurs have done a great job too relative to expectations. But I can name some guys who scare me on the Spurs at least.
Yeah. Okay.
The Knicks,
maybe. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone in the Spurs who is as trustworthy as Julius Randle, though.
So fair, except DeMar DeRozan down in the clutch is
okay.
is
Yeah,
different animal.
DeRozan.
But I would say that from the standpoint, like, so I think the players on the Knicks have more talent, but the Spurs players, we've come to realize how good they are because of Popovich's development. Like Derek White doesn't have more talent than Emmanuel Quickly in terms of like just from the basis of when they were drafted. But Derek White scares me a lot more because he's molded into a better player because of the Spurs system.
Right.
So like that's what scares me the most. The Knicks are throwing out these random guys like Taj Gibson isn't scaring me. Derrick Rose, like these vets, I'm not, it's not doing it for me. But then you have guys like Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills still in his wheelchair, and like guys like that who just scare me every night with the Spurs. It's just crazy.
Right.
So efficient. They, on their career trajectory, they outperform. But this season, I would say like no one thought the Knicks that we're going to even sniff the playoffs.
Yeah, I ended up agreeing. I just want to make the point that the Spurs never in the conversation.
So the Spurs, would play the Warriors. Looks like you could get a home game there. You're tied with the Warriors right now.
I don't love that.
Yeah, I don't either. But it looks like that's going to be. Looks like the Pelicans are out of it. 3.5 games as we record this on what's today, the 22nd. Happy Earth Day.
We love you.
But the Mavs could still jump only a half game back of the 6. Okay, but if you're the Mavs, would you rather take the sure thing as a 6 seed, avoid the play-in game, but get the Clippers, or have to go through the play-in game as the best seed though in the play-in and get the Suns? Who scares you more, the Clippers or the Suns? And is it worth the risk of the play-in?
Clippers scares me more, but Warriors and Suns, right?
No, it would be, so the 7 plays the 8. So we play the Grizzlies at home. And then you guys would play the Warriors. And if we beat the Grizzlies, then we play the Suns. If we lose to the Grizzlies, but beat the winner of your game, we play the Jazz we get the 8 seed. So we would avoid the Clippers altogether, but we would have to beat one of the Grizzlies, you guys, or the Warriors, but we would have 2 chances to do so. That makes sense.
Huh. Yeah, I guess, those are not great. Like statistically, those are all not in your favor. But,
I know.
I guess like avoiding Clippers at all costs is probably the best bet.
I think
it really is just a bad matchup for the Mavs.
I think we match up the best with the Suns out of those 3 teams, because I think the Suns have the least, I won't say star potential, but like if their best player is like this season is CP3, most talented is Book, but like Ayton doesn't scare me up front, and the combination of like Kawhi, Ibaka, Zubac, like that. I saw that play out last year. Not Ibaka, but that scares me more. And like Gobert scares me. And it's like I think we could contain the Ayton small ball like Jay Crowder, Dario Saric, Cam Johnson. Like that
I
seems a little better.
have a question for you, Jordan. Do
Yeah.
you think the Suns have the most balanced big three in the league?
Who's your third in the big three? Ayton?
Yeah.
The most balanced. What do you mean? Like,
You got a facilitator, a scorer, and like a big man.
all right, let's go through. What about Conley, Mitchell, and Gobert? That's kind of the same thing.
Kind of the same thing. I'd argue that Chris Paul is more of a facilitator role.
Okay.
And I'd argue that I guess that'd be the limit argument. That's a good counter.
What about when they're healthy? If we see them play, LeBron is a facilitator, AD is a scorer, Drummond is a defensive guy and a rebounder.
Interesting. I wouldn't say it's that balanced though, just it's a lot of inside presence.
Okay, that's fair.
I would argue the next besides I think your argument of the Jazz is good. I would say the Sixers maybe with Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Embiid.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's also a lot of size up front.
That's
but I
true,
agree.
yeah.
What about Dragic, Butler, and Bam?
I don't know if Dragic is on the same like level as all these other guys.
No, I don't think he is either. But I think that Bam is better than is way. I don't think Ayton is on Bam's level.
Fair.
And I think that Butler is ahead of where Booker is right now.
I just don't know if I'd call those like I don't know if I'd call that a big three, just because I don't think Dragic is like.
But I don't think Ayton is that great. Like I wouldn't say that they're a big three yet. I think they're more of a duo with a very complementary team around them. Like
He's pretty good. Let me check his stats.
He's good. He's good, but I don't know. Like you can be good and just not be at that level yet. Like Dragic was scoring 20 a game in the playoffs, but I wouldn't say he's an all-star right now. I mean, he was at a point.
I mean, Aiden's averaging 15 and 11. That's pretty solid.
That's solid. Okay, but that's not like I don't know. I wouldn't say a big three yet. I mean, I don't think they need to be a big three. I think they're good enough the way they are.
Right.
But you have guys like Crowder and Saric, Cam Johnson, Bridges. There's so many Cameron Payne out of nowhere. Like there's so many guys you can throw in that lineup and they perform. Like I don't think you need a big three. I think that the guys that they have right now, it's working perfectly. Cause like you see big threes, like I would say like Kemba, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you could say they're good enough to be a big three. From the standpoint of like they're all-star caliber players when they're healthy, but they're not.
Kemba has fallen off, dude.
Yeah, he has. But I mean, think there he has flashes where like in that Warriors game, he can play like an all-star, but I don't think you need a big three. I just don't. I think that the Clippers and Lakers have shown that you can just have a nice duo. But I do think the Suns are very good. I would like to avoid them, but I think I like them the most for the Mavs out of the top three. What about the Nuggets? So the last time we recorded, Jamal Murray was healthy. What odds do you give a rejuvenated Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon and Jokic, the MVP frontrunner, to beat the Lakers in a 7-game series?
No Jamal Murray in the playoffs. I think there's going to be a lot of motivation there to really like earn it without him. Really, that's really tough for them, man. I haven't really thought about it that much, honestly, but that's really tough for them because they were looking really good this season. But I think that is too. I would argue that he's their second best player, and that's a big loss. I don't think they have the talent to cover up for that. I mean, obviously, I know they're a really deep team, really well distributed, but I don't think they can make up for the loss of Jamal Murray in the long run.
Yeah, I agree. And it looks like they're pretty locked into the 4 seed. And the Lakers are pretty locked into 5. So looks like the Lakers will luck out with a nice first round series to kind of get healthy before they get the Jazz. But yeah, that's so the playoffs. One of the playing games, NBA playing games. are going to start. I think it was May 18th is the play-in tournament. So we'll definitely come back to this when the season gets down, but we're now under a month for the rest of the season. So it's the home stretch. Any updates on award predictions? What's this rookie of the year race? LaMelo's coming back. Do you think he can? I mean, there's literally like no momentum for anybody. So I think it's anyone's ball game. Do you think it's like whoever plays the best from here on out?
Could be, yeah. I liked Edwards for a little bit, but they suck. Their team is so
They're
bad.
very bad.
Yeah.
And they don't even have their first round pick this year, potentially. They're like, I think it's top 4 protected. It was in the D'Angelo Russell trade. So there's a chance the Warriors come away with that.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they could package. That's what I heard a trade rumor or idea, just a brainstorming idea of Wiseman plus that like top 5 pick or whatever it is. I think it has to be like at least 5 or lower. So like say it's like the 7th pick. And Wiseman for like Bradley Beal or someone of that nature.
That's dangerous, dude.
You bring Clay back. Yeah.
That'd be the best shooting team of all time.
I wonder who else they could get.
I guess Durant. I mean, okay, the old Warriors is also really good. Yeah, that's dangerous. I mean, that's cool though. Or just did Denny have DI injury? That was tough.
Yeah, but Zach Epstein's in shambles. But I mean, he dropped him on his. Yeah, how's your fantasy basketball team doing, by the way?
I don't want to talk about that.
All right.
I ended up right out of the playoffs in both of my leagues.
Oh, the playoffs already started?
Yeah, I missed them by like I was the 1 seed below playoffs in both the leagues. I lost. Epstein beat me out. Me and Noah out of the playoffs. And Noah was a really good team, but he had the 3rd most points in the league, but he always every week had the most points against him. It was crazy.
That's the worst. That's what happens to me in fantasy football every year.
Yeah, I'm not. I think I'm done with fantasy sports, man. It's
fantasy basketball.
I was just plagued with injuries. I had like Cat, D'Lo. I was playing. My team was plagued. Karis LeVert.
How's it going on the sport betting front with the NBA?
Sport betting. Can't really talk. I don't really know what you're talking about with that one.
It's legal. It's legal here, so I can talk.
But
I can talk as much about
it
as I want.
On your end?
Yeah. So, well, I had a nice parlay set up last night. Everything was going right. Everything was hitting, and it just came down to, it was like 5 to win 60. You know, it was not super big, but like I was feeling it.
Oh boy. It
came down to the Los Angeles Clippers plus 11.5. I teased it. I did an alternate line for all of them. So it wasn't like great odds. Like I said, I had a profit boost. So it was fine. The Clippers are at home against the Grizzlies. Like they want to stay in that number 3 spot. Of course they're going to play well. It's on NBA TV. Game starts and I see in the lineup that there's no Reggie Jackson. It's like, okay. No Patrick Beverly. It's like, okay, not a big deal. Rondo was out. It's like, okay, we're still okay. Paul George was out and Kawhi Leonard was out.
Oh,
so they were starting Amir Coffey, Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris, Zubac, and could not tell you the other guy. Even Serge Ibaka is still out. So there was no one on this team. I think Patrick Patterson may have been the 5th starter.
That's tough.
Yogi Ferrell got about 20 minutes last night. Didn't even know he was on the Clippers. And they were down 16 right out of the gate in the first quarter. So naturally, as soon as I got the chance, I cashed out. Cashed out for about $23. So it was about like a third of what I could have won. And then I looked at the end of the night and the Clippers won the game by 15. Not even one. I only needed them to lose by less than 12. And I thought that wasn't going to happen. And they won the game by 15 points.
That's crazy.
And to make matters even more crazy, Jaren Jackson Jr. was playing his first game since whoever knows when, last season before the bubble for the Grizzlies. So they were at full strength and lost that game to a bunch of no ones. But that's the sport betting corner. So don't always cash out when you get the chance. take some
I'll tell you,
risks.
Jordan. Might be speaking for a friend here, but
Okay.
somebody I know very closely might have thrown $60 on UCLA money line against Gonzaga. It's plus 700, plus 700, Jordan,
Oh
and
my God.
it was one shot away.
Oh my God. Did I did I ever tell you I missed that game?
You missed that game.
I missed it. I didn't see any of it. It was Shabbat, and then it wasn't, but I had already fallen asleep. Shabbat nap, and I missed it. Missed the whole game.
It was. It
Um,
was a Friday night.
no, it was a Saturday night.
Oh. Uh-huh.
So it was during the day, but then I had like fallen asleep, and then it was too long of a nap. I had a friend who partied a little too hard at the Darty, and it was over
That
before
kind
I
of
knew
that
it.
kind of vibe. Yeah, of course.
So, but that is miserable. So I don't want to ask what were the potential winnings on that? I'm trying to like think about
It
it. Was
was
it
like 60 to win, I think 400 or something.
no, it has to be more than that. It's plus 700.
Yeah, maybe 450.
For it'd be 420 if it was plus. I
Four,
was
oh,
thinking it was seven. Sorry, I was thinking it was 7,000 plus 7,000. I
no,
don't know
plus
why I
700.
asked.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was close, man.
I was
It was
doing the wrong math
close.
there.
It was close.
Wow. Wait, are
Yeah.
we sure that's 60 times? Wait, 60 times. So 60. Yeah. You're right. It's 420. That would have been crazy. Wow. Had your friend been betting on UCLA throughout the tournament, or was this?
No, it was just like it was just like a value pick, like plus 700 for like a
Yeah,
team that's not that bad. Like in the March Madness, like the craziest tournament. Like you never know what's gonna happen. Like
man, I did think they were bad. I not until that game. I didn't. I didn't see it, but
who's that guy?
Juzang, he ended the
Juice
draft.
Dang. He's
Yeah, Giant
insane.
Juzang. Yeah, they beat us, but I was not impressed with their game against Alabama. Thought both teams played horribly, and Alabama just kind of waited to give that game away. And then we did the exact same thing. I think UCLA just kind of lulls you to sleep. But whatever they did, I mean, props to them, and props to Baylor too for pulling it out. We haven't talked since then, but um, man, the national championship is back in Texas.
Back in Texas, baby.
I hated to see it be any other team than the Longhorns, but
Dude, that busted I put UT all the way. It's my bracket. But I did have Baylor and Gonzaga in the Final Four, so I was not terrible, but not the
not
best.
terrible. You had 2 1 seeds. Everyone else probably had that.
Yeah, I think everybody had that.
I mean, I
I had
had
Baylor, Gonzaga, UT, and Kate Cunningham, Oklahoma State in the Final Four.
that makes
They
sense.
lost early.
See, I like to make decisions on how I feel about teams early on, and then I make a bunch of brackets, but the only ones I change are some of like the upset picks. But I make decisions on how I feel about teams from the get-go, and then I ride that through all my brackets. And
Uh-huh.
this year I was like, Baylor is gonna go out early. I was like, Wisconsin may take them out in the round of 32. Had one bracket where that happened, did not happen. Had one bracket where it was Purdue taking them out. Had another one where it was Ohio State. Just every round. I never had Baylor going to the Final Four. It's like they are not built for this.
Apparently you're wrong.
I mean, it looks like they worked out with the football team for a couple months before. So I should take that into consideration before I just blindly throw against them. But man, it was a bad showing for the Big Ten. I put a lot of stake into them. I just whatever. My best call was that I had Oregon State and Oregon both in my Sweet 16. So I had Oregon State beating Oklahoma State, and that happened. So that was nice. I also had a nice parlay I told myself I wasn't going to bet during college basketball because what are brackets? I mean, it's already pretty much betting. So it's good. It was just too much going on to keep betting, but I threw one parlay that had Oregon State beating Oklahoma State, I think. And it was, then it was Iowa losing to Oregon. It was like all the upsets, and it was like, I put $2 on it and I won like 60. So it was, that was nice. That was fun.
Nice.
Thanks. But yeah. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with a little today in history, talk about I guess what today's Earth Day. I would do Earth Day to honor 422 here, but this probably is going to go out for another couple days. So we'll talk about 423, April 23rd, when we come back.
Sounds good.
And we're back. I was trying to do you. And we're
good.
back.
A solid impression.
Yeah. All right.
April
April 23rd. Got a lot going on today. So
much going on.
first, we're going to shout out the events that happened in sports.
Shout out.
1954, Hammer and Hank Aaron hits the first of his 755 home runs, which is second behind Barry Bonds, who's still not in the Hall of Fame. And so he's at 2 after Bonds passed him. Albert Pujols is 21 years old in 41 days, and he has 664. The next leader is at 4, A-Rod, and Babe Ruth's at 3. So A-Rod's at 696. Pujols needs 33 home runs to pass Alex Rodriguez. This could be his last season. He only has 2 home runs this year. What odds do you give Pujols to pass him? It probably won't happen this year, so I think he'd have to play another year.
I don't think he's gonna pass A-Rod. That's a lot.
He'd be 22. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think he can do that. Not 22. Sorry, I kept saying 21 years old. 21st year. Sorry, 21st year in the league. He's 41 years old. That's what I meant to say. Not 21 years and 41 days. I'm very stupid reading that. He would be 42 years old in his 22nd year.
Jackie Robinson.
Do you want to know where he is?
No, you're just saying he's 42. Yeah.
Oh, he has 137. Jackie Robinson is tied for 607th. So
not too far.
Way to look like a tool, dude. All right.
Wow.
So Albert Pujols just passed Willie Mays at the end of last year, and now could track down A-Rod. Can A-Rod track down another girlfriend after J-Lo, after the breakup?
That's tough, man. I actually feel for them.
You said they were a power couple. I mean,
they were a power couple. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the great Bambino, Babe Ruth, 714. I don't know who could even get to 700. I mean, looking at this list, like Miguel Cabrera is 488 is the next active player. Miguel Cabrera is 38 years old. I mean, that's nothing. Nelson Cruz is at 423. He's 40. I mean, all these guys are old.
Yeah.
Cano's 38, and I don't know what's going on with him. Giancarlo Stanton is only 31, but he only has 315. So he need to more than double, and he's been on a decline. Mike Trout, though, 29 years old at 308. That could be the one fighting chance.
Could be the one, yeah. He could be the one.
Because if Mike Trout plays until like 43, you got 15 more years. I mean, it's possible he could have some nice 40 home run years in there, but he's not really known for his power hitting. He'll
probably end around them, I'd say. I don't think he's going to end above them, though.
I mean, there could be some young guys who are just on the come up, but even Manny Machado is 28 already. Just these guys are old, man. Jose Abreu's 34. Like, what?
Wow.
I mean, that guy, Jose Abreu, is the White Sox guy. He just feel like he just came into the league, and he's 34 years old. So he's only been playing since 2014. So, all right. Well, that's depressing. But what's not depressing, actually, is kind of sad too. 1989, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played his last game as a Laker today. I mean, is he the greatest scoring presence you've ever seen?
Yes.
Not seen, but known.
Yes.
Personally.
Yep.
On an intimate level.
Yep.
Same. All right. Birthdays. Happy birthday to Gigi Hadid is 26. John Cena, 44. Dun, 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 dun. Sunday. What was the other? Oh, Ty Cruz. That's what we were going to say.
Oh,
Ty Cruz. Happy birthday, man. Ty Cruz. I think he was on here. Yeah, 36 years old. But what are his songs again?
We're only gonna break, 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 break. Oh,
And how does Dynamite go? Sing, I wanna celebrate it.
Yeah, fire song.
So happy birthday, dude. Hope you have a great one. Who else was it? George Lopez
Oh,
is
he's the
60.
go.
He's 60.
Wow, wow,
Da,
wow.
da, 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 da,
Yeah,
da, da, da.
that's a fire
Oh,
shot.
more. That would come on at like 3 a.m. and I'd like wake up and see that on the TV.
Oh yeah, I used to love that.
William Shakespeare would have been, let me do the math here, 400, 457 years today would have been
Another go, another
his
go.
age.
He's
Huge.
like, that's funny that him and Tyler Cruz are born on the same day because they're kind of like he's like kind of the modern Shakespeare.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, Ty Cruz is definitely modern Shakespeare. There's no athletes looks like on here. I mean, I can look up to see if there's any NBA players who um, were born on April 23rd, but it's a lot of artists. It's very a lot of celebrities, but they're all artists. Yeah, there's
Well,
no one
sports are
here.
an art in the same right. It's all an expression of creativity, right, and skill.
Yeah, that's true. It's everyone's art. The best guy looks like in terms of at least points per game is Gail Goodrich. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Of course. You know him. Do you plan 2K with him?
Wasn't he on the Celtics? I want to say.
He played for the Lakers, Suns, and NOJ, who is the New Orleans Jazz.
Okay, I guess I'm just a racist. Except I knew he's like an old white guy.
He is
I was
looks
like,
like
oh, it had to
a
be a Celtic. Had to be a Celtic.
yeah, old white guy, 5-time All-Star. Happy birthday, Gail Goodrich. Um, sorry to the game of baseball and all power hitters everywhere. But that is today. Um, and for today's mail, we have one from Earth Lover. Earth Lover 422.
422.
Because today's or yesterday was Earth Day. Today's Earth Day, and we're recording this, but um, it is now 423. But Earth Lover says, when Lil Dicky says, "Hi, I'm a baboon. I'm like a man, just less advanced, and my behind is huge." Do you think that he means he is literally an animal, or is this a metaphor for how we are all just part of a greater system with insecurities like a big behind? Thank you, Zach and Jordan. A big fan. Excited for season 2. All right. So what do you think?
This is when Unmasked gets meta.
Are all of these animals representative of our own different unique qualities? I don't know. I mean, when he says he's a fat effing pig, is this like a sexist person that he's trying to embody? I don't.
Now you
What do
got
you
to
think?
look at the symbolism behind that, in the real deeper meaning, and the deeper implications.
Okay, let's hear it. You have
You
any
got to look at
idea?
like the social context
So when he
of what
says,
he's
"And
saying.
I'm Kanye West," does he mean he's Kanye? Because Kevin Hart says that lyric. So does Kevin Hart just feel like he's at a Kanye level of his own profession, of his own life?
Ooh, he feels like Pablo,
Right. Where
who
he's just a
who
creative
is
mind.
who's a metaphor for Kanye, right?
Yeah. Right.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely interesting.
So when he says, "I'm a squirrel looking for my next nut," do you think that means that the squirrel is looking for his next opportunity in life to become that personality and that image of themselves and embrace those differences? I don't know.
Jordan, with that one specifically, I don't see how it could be interpreted any other way.
I'm just saying that. I think that's how it is. And then he says, "We love you, India. We love you, Africa. We love the Chinese. We forgive you, Germany." And I just think that is so accepting of everyone, all
Very
cultures.
inclusive.
I love the song. I love the earth, just like Lil Dicky and Dave Bird. I love Earth Day. And what can I say? I'm an Earth
Love the
lover.
earth.
Um, and so, well, we wrap it up. Definitely check out Dave. I think it's June 16th, I want to say, is season 2 of that. This was season 2 of Unmasked. We
Yes.
are back. We will be back next week before the NFL draft to give you a little bit of a preview. That should be next Thursday, I believe, is round 1. So we'll come prepared. But yeah, this was great, Zach.
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Prayers up to LA and his family. Should be an exciting end to the NBA season. Take care and stay safe, everyone. Peace.
Shout out season 2. Love the earth. Peace.